We pick up our poker trip in Las Vegas with some never before seen footage of Rampage and his filmer Carl shooting some very dramatic B-roll footage for the vlog. We then arrive at the valet of the Wynn and are greeted by many cheering fans. This is nothing new, we continue on our way. We eventually stumble into the poker room and jump on the waiting list. We sit down at the 1-3 game, we're in for $400. First hand to note, we pick up pocket fours from the hijack. 2 limps to me, I limp as well. Small blind raises to $25, under the gun +1, and the middle position player both call. I'm getting a good price here to set mine, so I call as well. We're going 4 ways to the flop. 103 in the pot comes 4, 8 deuce, all spades, bang. We hit a set. We do have to be careful though on this monotone board. Small blind keeps firing, this time for $60, and both limpers fold. I put in the call here with our set. We're off to the turn. 223 in the pot comes the 5 of diamonds. Ace 3 and 6-7 now make a straight, but we're not too worried about any of those holdings. Small blind now checks, showing weakness, so I decide to bet $135 here, trying to get value from overpairs, and we definitely want to charge holdings with a high spade in their hand here. He goes into the tank but ultimately folds and shows pocket 10s. He didn't have a spade in his hand. We're a little bummed we couldn't get an extra street of value there, but definitely happy to be scooping the first pot of the night. 535 now in our stack. We look down at 8s from under the gun. I raise to 11. Cutoff, button, small blind, and the big blind all call. No shortage of action here at the Wynn. We're going 5 ways to the flop. Flop is a decent one for us. 7, deuce, deuce, 2 diamonds. We flop an overpair. Checks to me. I make a standard bet here for $31, and all 4 players fold. $550 now in our stack. We look down at ace 8 of spades from the cutoff. Under the gun limps. I raise it to 12. The big blind and the under the gun limper both call, so we're going 3 ways to the flop with 37 in the pot. Flop's a decent one for us. Comes queen 8 deuce. The big blind and the under the gun check to me, and I think this board hits our range way harder than the big blind or the limper, so I c-bet here for around 33% of the pot. I bet $12. Both players make the call, so we're going 3 ways again to the turn. 73 in the pot. The turn's an interesting card. It's the 8 of hearts, so we improved to trips, but it's definitely going to be hard to get value here from any queen now that the front door heart draw came in. It checks to me again, and I think we need to keep betting here to charge all queens and 1 heart hand. If we get raised, then we definitely have a tough spot and a decision to make. When I bet $35, both fold, they give up their hand, and we scoop that $108 pot. 590 now in our stack. We look down at pocket 8s again from the hijack. 1 limp to me, I raise it to 11. The small blind, big blind, and under the gun all put in the call, going 4 ways to the flop with 44 in the pot. Flop comes king, king, 4, which is a decent board for our range here, and the action checks to me. If we were heads up or 3 ways, I probably would be making a c-bet here, but against 3 other players, I decided to take a free card and check behind. Still 4 ways to the turn with 44 in the pot comes the 9 of diamonds. The action now checks to me again here on the turn. I think we definitely have to put some money in the pot and take a stab. If someone had something good here, they most likely would have announced their hand by now. So I bet half pot for $21, and the small blind, big blind, and the under the gun all put in the call, which is definitely strange the way this action has played out, but we're off to the river, still 4 ways. 128 now in the pot. The river comes the 6 of clubs. Action checks around to me as it has the last 2 streets, and with 2, 3, and 7, 8 getting there, I decide to just check back 4 ways here. Interestingly enough, nobody wants to show their cards right away, so the player on my right proudly shows ace jack for ace high, and I one up him and turn over our pair of 8s, and we're going to scoop that $128 pot. At this point, Ethan gets bored, and he calls us a private branded Wynn limousine to take us to dinner. Oh what, you don't believe me? You're saying we're not baller enough for that yet? You're probably right, plus who would ever choose dinner over poker? Okay, back to the tables. 675 now in our stack. We look down at ace jack offsuit from the button. Under the gun raises to 11, and I should be just folding or 3-betting here, but instead I make the worst decision and just call, which brings in the small blind and the big blind. 4 ways to the flop with 44 in the pot comes 8, 3, 6, 2 clubs. The small blind decides now to start betting for $20, and the big blind folds. I think about raising here with the ace of clubs in my hand, but decide to see what the turn brings in and just put in the call. Heads up to the turn with 84 in the pot comes the 6 of clubs. A great card for us is now we pick up additional equity with the flush draw. Even better for us is when the under the gun now checks, showing weakness. It appears on the surface that he was just taking a stab on the flop, so I need to start betting here to set up a river bluff, or better yet, build the pot in case I hit a club on the river. I bet 51. He pretty quickly folds, so we drag that pot. 725 now in our stack. We look down at king jack of diamonds from the hijack, one limp to me. I raise it up to 13, and the button and the limper both call. 3 ways to the flop here, which comes ace, king, king. Absolutely amazing flop here because we unblock all combos including an ace in them. So when the limper checks to me, I decide to bet $20 instead of checking here. The button folds and the limper does as well, so unfortunately no value for us there with our flop trips, but I definitely like our decision there to start betting and building the pot targeting all pairs of aces. $675 now in our stack. We look down at ace 3 of clubs from the under the gun +1. Under the gun limps, I raise it up to 11, and my left in the under the gun position player call. So going 3 ways to the flop with 37 in the pot comes 3-3 deuce. Yeah, let me repeat that. It comes 3-3 deuce. We flop trips. I decide to check here and play this one slow. The middle position player checks behind, so we're off to the turn. 37 still in the pot comes the queen of clubs. Under the gun checks again here, and I keep up the trap here and check again. Middle position player falls for it and bets $14. And now it's time to spring the trap and build a pot. I raise it to 40. Unfortunately, that player folds, but we're going to drag that $91 pot. Pocket 8s here for the 3rd time of the night. We're in the cutoff position. Few limps to me. I raise it to $21. We get 3 callers. We're going off to the flop with 85 in the pot, which comes 5, 6, 7. Amazing flop for us. We have an overpair and an open-ended straight draw. Additionally, we have 2 blockers to the nut straight of 8, 9. It checks to me, and I bet $35 here. Folds all the way back around to the hijack, who now check raises me to $150. He only has $6 more behind. What is he repping here? Sets and 2 pairs all make sense, but I don't think he has too many 3-4s in his limp calling range here, and I double block 8-9, so that's definitely unlikely as well. So against this range that I'm putting on here of sets and 2 pairs, we have a bunch of outs, and he could also just be doing something crazy here, going for the check raise. So I decide that my hand is too strong to fold just yet, and I put in the call. The turn with 385 in the pot comes the deuce of spades, pretty much a brick card, and now he goes all in for his 6 chips. I'm not going anywhere. I call. 397 now in the pot. The river comes the 10 of hearts, which is another brick given how the action played out. If we were ahead before, we still should be ahead now. And sure enough, he flips over 4-6 of spades for the pair in the straight draw combo on the flop. He then picked up a flush draw on the turn, so we dodge the entire world there when he just ends up with a pair of 6s on the river. We're going to drag that $397 pot. Last hand of the night here, we have $925 in our stack. We look down at ace-king offsuit. Few limps to me. I raise it up to $22, and the big blind and the hijack both call. 3 ways to the flop here with $72 in the pot comes 3, 4, 5, 2 clubs. Out of position here, which is not ideal, and I definitely don't recommend betting here, but that's what I do in the moment, and I'm just narrating right now. So I bet $36. Unfortunately for us, everybody folds. So results orientated, I guess that was the right decision. Not sure how good that is in the long run, betting ace high there into 2 players out of position. But nevertheless, we drag that $108 pot. We rack up our chips and head to the cage. We got into the game for $400, out of the game for $964, so a profit of $564 in this session. All right, that does it for us here at the Wynn. Into the game for $400. We ran pretty well in our couple-hour session here, and we cashed out $964, so a profit of $564. If you guys like this video, be sure to like it, comment, subscribe if you're new, turn on the post notifications so you get notified right when I post. And thank you guys for the support. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Thanks for watching to the end of my video. Click my head below to subscribe and stay in the loop. See you next time.